Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt small? Your heart races, your palms sweat, and your mind goes blank. You want to speak, but the words don't come. You want to connect, but fear and self-doubt hold you back. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Millions of people around the world struggle with shyness, anxiety, and that overwhelming awkwardness in conversations. But here's the truth. Social confidence is not something you're born with, it's something you build. And when you build it, it changes everything. Imagine walking into that same room feeling calm, centered, and sure of yourself. Imagine speaking up in meetings, making new friends with ease, or connecting deeply in your relationships without the fear of judgment. That's what this audiobook is here to help you achieve. In the next chapters, we'll uncover the psychology of shyness and anxiety, break down practical strategies to overcome them, and give you daily habits to make confidence a natural part of your life. From body language to conversation starters, from handling rejection to thriving in groups, you'll get the tools to create a lasting transformation. So, if you're ready to stop sitting on the sidelines and start living as your most confident self, let's dive in. Before we dive in, we've noticed that most people who listen to our audiobooks never subscribe to the channel. So do me and yourself a favor. Like this video, share it with someone who's ready to grow, and subscribe to this channel so you never miss more empowering content designed to help you grow. Chapter 1: Understanding Social Confidence. Welcome to the first chapter of this journey, Understanding Social Confidence. Before we dive deep into strategies and techniques, we need to build a solid foundation. Think of it as laying the bricks before constructing a strong house. Without this understanding, every action you take may feel forced, inconsistent, or even fake. But once you truly understand what social confidence is, you'll realize that it's not some mysterious quality reserved for a lucky few. It's a skill anyone can build, including you. So let's begin. What social confidence really means. At its core, social confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about dominating conversations, cracking the funniest jokes, or knowing exactly what to say at every moment. True social confidence is the ability to walk into a social situation, whether it's a meeting, a party, a networking event, or even just talking to a stranger, and feel at ease with yourself. It's not about controlling others. It's about being comfortable in your own skin. Imagine walking into a crowded room. Social confidence means your mind is not drowning in thoughts like, "Do they like me?" Or, "What if I embarrass myself?" Instead, you enter with a quiet assurance that you are enough. You don't need to perform. You don't need to impress. You just need to show up as yourself. One famous leader who exemplified this was Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She wasn't flashy, she wasn't loud, and she didn't rely on grand speeches to win respect. Instead, she built her confidence on quiet strength, thoughtfulness, and consistency. Merkel proved to the world that social confidence is not about being extroverted. It's about being genuine, composed, and steady even in high-pressure situations. That is the essence of social confidence. Not trying to be someone else, but fully owning who you already are. Myths versus reality about social confidence. Now, let's clear up a few myths that might be holding you back. Myth 1. You need to be extroverted to be socially confident. Reality. Some of the most confident people in history were introverts. Think of Abraham Lincoln, a man known more for his depth of thought than his charm at parties. He often preferred solitude, but when he spoke, his words carried weight. That's because confidence isn't about talking the most. It's about speaking with clarity and conviction. Myth 2. Social confidence means never feeling nervous. Reality. Even the most admired leaders and public speakers still feel nervous before big moments. For instance, Queen Elizabeth II admitted in her early years that she felt anxious about addressing large crowds. But she learned to channel that nervous energy into steady composure. Feeling nervous doesn't mean you lack confidence. It means you're human. Myth 3. Confidence is something you're born with. Reality. Confidence is built step by step through practice and experience. In his book The Confidence Gap by Russ Harris, he explains that action comes before confidence, not the other way around. In other words, you don't wait until you feel confident to speak up. You speak up first, and the confidence follows. That's a game changer for anyone who thinks they need to fix themselves before they can be socially confident. Why shyness and anxiety happen in social settings. Now let's address the big question. Why do we feel shy, anxious, or awkward in the first place? It often comes down to fear of judgment. Deep inside, we fear that if we say the wrong thing, people will laugh, reject us, or think less of us. Our brain interprets this as a threat. Thousands of years ago, rejection from the tribe meant danger, even death. So even today, your nervous system reacts to social situations as if survival is on the line. Picture this. Your palms get sweaty, your heart races, your mind goes blank. That's your body's fight or flight response kicking in. But here's the truth. In most modern social settings, there is no real threat. No wild animal is chasing you. No tribe is casting you out. It's just a conversation. Yet, your body reacts as if your life depends on it. Let's take an example. Japan's Emperor Akihito, in his early reign, was known to be soft-spoken and often appeared shy during public appearances. The weight of expectation made him nervous. But over the years, by continuously engaging with people and stepping into more social roles, he grew more comfortable. His example reminds us, shyness is not permanent. It can be reshaped through experience. Another major reason we feel anxious is self-focus. We zoom in too much on ourselves, our looks, our words, our flaws, instead of focusing outward on the conversation. When you shift your attention from "how am I doing?" to "how can I connect with this person?" anxiety starts to lose its grip. Key takeaways from this chapter. Before we wrap up this chapter, let's lock in the most important lessons. Social confidence is not about being extroverted. It's about being comfortable in your own skin. Myths hold you back. Nervousness is normal. Introverts can be confident, and confidence is built through action, not given at birth. Shyness and anxiety are natural responses. They come from fear of judgment and self-focus, but with awareness and practice, you can retrain your brain to stay calm. Examples show us the truth. Leaders like Angela Merkel, Abraham Lincoln, Queen Elizabeth II, and Emperor Akihito prove that confidence can take many forms. It's not about style, it's about presence. Action creates confidence. As Russ Harris writes in The Confidence Gap, confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the willingness to act in spite of it. As we move forward in this audiobook, keep reminding yourself, you don't have to become someone else to be socially confident. You already have the raw material. You just need to shape it. In the coming chapters, we'll uncover practical tools and step-by-step exercises to help you overcome shyness, quiet the anxiety, and replace awkwardness with authentic presence. If this first chapter spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Take a moment right now to like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next chapter. Your journey to building unshakable social confidence has just begun, and trust me, you don't want to walk it alone. Chapter 2. The Psychology Behind Shyness and Anxiety. Have you ever walked into a room full of people and suddenly felt your chest tighten, your palms sweat, and your voice shrink inside your throat? You want to speak, but something inside holds you back. That's shyness and social anxiety at work. And to overcome it, we must first understand why it happens. This chapter is about peeling back the curtain on the psychology behind shyness and anxiety. We will explore the root causes of social fear, how our brain reacts to social threats, and how to understand your triggers. Once you understand the why, the how to fix it becomes much easier. Root causes of social fear. Shyness and social anxiety don't come out of nowhere. They often stem from three powerful fears. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of not being perfect. Let's break each one down. 1. Fear of judgment. Most people with social anxiety worry about what others will think of them. They imagine being watched, analyzed, or silently criticized. Maybe you've thought, what if I say something stupid? What if they think I'm boring? This is the fear of judgment. The truth is, most people are too focused on themselves to be judging you. As the saying goes, we would worry less about what others think of us if we realized how seldom they do. That line comes from Ethel Barrett's book Don't Look Now, but your personality is showing. And it's true, people are often lost in their own world, not scrutinizing yours. 2. Fear of rejection. This fear is wired into us as human beings. Long ago, being rejected from the tribe could mean death. Today, rejection doesn't carry the same survival risk, but our brain still reacts as if it does. That's why a small no, a declined invitation, or a cold look can sting so deeply. Even great leaders have faced rejection. Take Abraham Lincoln, for example. Before becoming one of the most respected presidents in history, he faced repeated failures and rejections in business and politics. Instead of allowing rejection to define him, he reframed it as a stepping stone. 3. Fear of not being perfect. Perfectionism fuels anxiety. If you believe every word you say must be flawless, every joke must land, every idea must shine, you set yourself up for paralysis. The irony is, trying to be perfect makes you less authentic and more awkward. One of the greatest prime ministers of the 20th century, Golda Meir of Israel, once said, "Those who don't know how to weep with their whole heart don't know how to laugh either." Her words remind us that vulnerability, imperfection, and authenticity are what connect us as human beings, not polished perfection. How the brain reacts to social threats. Now let's go deeper. Why does your body sometimes betray you when you face social situations? Why does your heart race, your mouth dry up, and your hands tremble? This is your brain's survival mechanism at work, the fight, flight, or freeze response. Fight. You try to dominate the situation, maybe by talking too fast, over-explaining, or acting defensive. Flight. You escape, canceling plans, avoiding parties, or hiding in the corner of the room. Freeze. You shut down completely. Your mind goes blank, and you can't get the words out. Here's the fascinating part. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a wild animal chasing you and an audience staring at you during a meeting. To your nervous system, both are threats. Modern neuroscience shows that the amygdala, the fear center of the brain, lights up when we feel socially exposed. But here's the good news. Your brain can be retrained. Just as a muscle grows stronger with exercise, your confidence can grow stronger each time you step into discomfort. A great example is Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. Known for her calm, steady presence, she admitted early in her career that public speaking filled her with dread. But through consistent exposure and preparation, she turned her fear into one of her strongest assets. She didn't eliminate fear, she managed it. Understanding your triggers. To master social confidence, you need to know what specifically triggers your anxiety. Everyone's triggers are different. For some, it's speaking to authority figures. For others, it's meeting strangers, or even being the center of attention at a dinner table. Think of triggers as emotional fingerprints. Once you identify them, you can prepare for them. Here's an exercise. Write down 3 situations where you feel the most social anxiety. For each, describe what you fear will happen. Then ask yourself, how often has that worst-case scenario actually happened? You'll likely find that your fears are far bigger than reality. Another powerful method is journaling. A journal helps you track your emotions over time and spot patterns. For instance, you may notice that your anxiety is worse when you're tired, hungry, or unprepared. That knowledge gives you power, bringing it all together. So let's summarize. Shyness and social anxiety are often rooted in fear of judgment, fear of rejection, and perfectionism. Your brain reacts to social threats with fight, flight, or freeze, but you can retrain it through practice. Identifying your personal triggers allows you to prepare and respond with confidence instead of fear. Remember this, social confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to move forward in spite of fear. Key takeaways for you. Most people are too busy with themselves to constantly judge you. Rejection is part of life. Even great leaders faced it. What matters is how you respond. Perfection isn't attractive, authenticity is. Your brain's threat system can be rewired with practice. Knowing your triggers is the first step to mastering them. As you reflect on this chapter, ask yourself, which fear shows up the most in my life? Judgment, rejection, or perfectionism? Once you know the answer, you can start working on it step by step. In the next chapter, we'll talk about shifting your mindset, because once you change the way you think, you change the way you show up in every room. If you're finding value in this audiobook, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps bring more life-changing content your way, and it might just help someone else who struggles with the same fears you've been facing. So, take a deep breath, hold your head high, and remember, confidence is built, not born. And you're building it right now. Chapter 3: Shifting Your Mindset. When it comes to social confidence, the real breakthrough doesn't start with how you speak, or how you stand, or even how others see you. It starts inside your mind. Your mindset is the foundation of every social interaction. If you see mistakes as proof of failure, if you believe confidence is something you're either born with or not, or if you constantly demand perfection from yourself, then no matter how many techniques you learn, you will still hold yourself back. So in this chapter, let's talk about what it truly means to shift your mindset. You'll learn how to reframe mistakes as learning opportunities, how to adopt a growth mindset towards social skills, and how to let go of the exhausting need to be perfect. Reframing mistakes as learning moments. Think about the first time you tried to ride a bicycle as a child. You probably fell a few times. Maybe you scraped your knee, maybe you felt embarrassed. But eventually you learned to balance. The falling wasn't failure, it was feedback. That's exactly how social confidence works. Every awkward silence, every stumble over your words, every joke that didn't land, it's not a permanent scar on your social identity. It's simply practice. One world leader who embodied this attitude was Abraham Lincoln. Before he became president, Lincoln faced multiple defeats in elections. He even had businesses that failed. Yet, instead of seeing those failures as reasons to quit, he reframed them as learning experiences. He once said, "My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure." Lincoln understood that the true danger wasn't in failing, it was in stopping. The same principle applies when building social confidence. If you walk into a room, try to start a conversation, and it feels awkward, that moment is not evidence that you'll always be awkward. It's a lesson. It's your practice ground. Key tip: after every social interaction, instead of replaying it with self-criticism, ask yourself, what did I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? That simple shift will turn mistakes into teachers rather than enemies. Adopting a growth mindset toward social skills. Psychologist Carol Dweck introduced the concept of a growth mindset in her book Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. She explained that people with a growth mindset believe abilities can be developed through effort, strategies, and learning from others. On the other hand, people with a fixed mindset believe abilities are set in stone. You either have them or you don't. Now think about how that applies to social confidence. If you believe that some people are naturally confident, and you're not one of them, you're stuck in a fixed mindset. But if you believe that confidence is a skill that can be developed with practice, you've stepped into growth. Let me give you an example. Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany, was not known for being naturally charismatic or outgoing. Early in her political career, she was considered quiet and reserved. Yet over time, through practice, preparation, and experience, she developed into one of the most respected leaders in the world stage. She wasn't born confident. She grew into confidence. The lesson here is simple. Social confidence is not a gift you either have or don't have. It is a skill, like learning to play an instrument or cook a meal. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Key exercise: before attending any social event, remind yourself, this is practice, not performance. That mindset alone will remove the pressure and allow you to grow steadily. Letting go of the need to be perfect. Perfectionism is one of the biggest obstacles to social confidence. The belief that you must always say the right thing, always impress, and never make mistakes will only leave you feeling paralyzed. Franklin D. Roosevelt, one of the most influential U.S. presidents, struggled with his health after contracting polio, which left him paralyzed from the waist down. Many thought this would end his political career. But instead of hiding or aiming for a perfect image, Roosevelt embraced authenticity. He didn't let the idea of appearing flawless define him. He let his vision, his words, and his leadership speak louder than his physical challenges. Your conversations don't have to be perfect to be meaningful. People don't remember every word you say. They remember how you made them feel. If you stumble, laugh it off. If you forget a point, keep going. Imperfection makes you human, and being human makes you relatable. Here's a small but powerful shift. Instead of striving for perfection, strive for connection. Focus less on what you are saying and more on being present with the person in front of you. Now, let's put this into steps you can use right away. Reframe mistakes. After every social interaction, write down one thing you did well and one thing you'll improve. This keeps your brain focused on progress rather than failure. Practice growth thinking. Say to yourself daily, confidence is a skill. Every conversation is practice. Repeat this until it becomes your truth. Ditch perfection. When you feel pressure to be flawless, remind yourself, I'm here to connect, not perform. Key takeaways for you. Mistakes are not failures, they are feedback. Confidence grows with practice, just like any other skill. Perfection is not required. Authenticity and connection matter more. When you shift your mindset in these 3 ways, you'll start to see social situations not as tests of your worth, but as opportunities to grow. Remember, building social confidence isn't about changing who you are. It's about changing how you think about yourself and your interactions. By reframing mistakes, adopting a growth mindset, and letting go of perfectionism, you'll unlock a version of yourself that is freer, bolder, and more connected. If you found this chapter helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so more people can join this journey of personal growth. And as we move forward, keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep showing up. Confidence is built one step at a time. Chapter 4. Building a strong inner foundation. Imagine standing in front of a room full of people. Your palms feel a little sweaty, your heart races, and your mind is racing with one thought. What if I mess up? Now imagine another person in the exact same situation. Their heart might also be racing, but their inner voice says something different. I've prepared for this. I can handle it. I may not be perfect, but I'll give my best. The only difference between these 2 people is not talent, not intelligence, not even appearance. It's the inner foundation of confidence. In this chapter, we are going to build that foundation step by step. We'll talk about the role of self-talk and affirmations, the importance of daily confidence rituals, and how something as simple as your posture, breathing, and voice can transform how others see you, and how you see yourself. The role of self-talk and affirmations. Let's start with self-talk. Every single day, we have an inner dialogue running in our heads. Some researchers estimate that the average person has over 60,000 thoughts a day. Imagine if most of those thoughts are negative, things like I can't do this, or people will laugh at me, or I'm not enough. That kind of self-talk chips away at your confidence before you even walk into the room. But here's the good news, you can reprogram it. Think of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the former president of the United States. He suffered from polio, which left him paralyzed from the waist down. Yet, when he spoke to his nation during some of its darkest times, people didn't see a man in a wheelchair. They saw a leader who radiated strength. Why? Because of his mindset and his words. He often used phrases of courage, not just to others, but to himself. His famous line, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself," was not just for the public, it was also his own anchor against self-doubt. That's the power of self-talk. And here's where affirmations come in. Affirmations are positive, intentional statements that rewire your inner voice. For example, I am calm and confident in conversations. I deserve to be heard. Every interaction makes me stronger. The trick is not just to repeat them, but to feel them. Say them aloud in front of a mirror every morning, stand tall, breathe deeply, and mean every word. There's a book titled The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. In it, he explains how affirmations, when practiced daily, reshape not only your mindset but your actions. The idea is simple. When you repeatedly tell yourself something empowering, your brain starts to accept it as truth. And once your brain believes it, your actions follow. Daily confidence rituals. Now let's talk about rituals. Confidence doesn't come by accident. It's not a gift given to a select few. It's something you cultivate through daily habits. Take Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. She was known for her calm, composed, and steady presence in some of the most high-pressure situations in global politics. What many people don't know is that she had daily routines that grounded her. Small rituals like walking before big decisions, preparing her notes meticulously, and maintaining balance in her personal life. You might not be leading a nation, but you can build your own rituals that ground your confidence. Here are some simple daily practices. Morning power pose. Stand in front of the mirror with your feet shoulder-width apart, shoulders back, chin up. Hold the position for 2 minutes. Research by Amy Cuddy in her book Presence shows that this kind of posture boosts testosterone and lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, making you feel more powerful. Gratitude list. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every morning. Gratitude shifts your mind away from fear and into abundance, making you more socially open. Visualization. Close your eyes and picture yourself entering a room with confidence. Imagine people smiling at you, engaging with you. Athletes like Muhammad Ali used visualization before every fight, saying, "I am the greatest," long before the world believed it. Reflect at night. Before bed, ask yourself, what did I do today that showed confidence? It could be as simple as making eye contact or starting a conversation. Celebrate these small wins. Rituals don't just prepare you for big moments. They condition your brain and body to operate from a place of confidence every day. How physical health impacts social presence. Now let's get practical about the physical side of confidence. Your body is not separate from your mind. They're deeply connected. The way you carry yourself sends messages not only to others but also to yourself. Think of Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first Prime Minister. He was often described as soft-spoken, but his physical presence, his posture, his composure, his deliberate pacing of words, made him a figure of authority. He didn't need to shout. His presence spoke louder than his voice. Let's break this down. Posture. When you slump your shoulders, look down, or fold into yourself, your body is literally signaling defeat. Straighten up, lift your chin, and open your chest. It may feel strange at first, but it instantly makes you appear approachable and confident. Voice. Confidence isn't about being the loudest. It's about clarity and pacing. Record yourself speaking and listen. Are you rushing? Are you mumbling? Practice slowing down. A steady voice communicates authority and calmness. Breathing. Most people underestimate breathing. Shallow, rapid breathing fuels anxiety. Deep, steady breathing grounds you. Before entering a social event, try this. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4, exhale for 6. Repeat. You'll feel calmer almost instantly. Physical health also matters. Exercise, proper sleep, and nutrition all play roles in your confidence. A tired body cannot project energy. A stressed body cannot radiate calmness. Taking care of your health is not just about fitness. It's about fueling your social presence. Key takeaways for you. Self-talk shapes your confidence. Replace negative thoughts with affirmations and repeat them daily. Rituals create consistency. Morning power poses, gratitude lists, visualization, and nightly reflections can transform your confidence. Your body speaks before you do. Posture, voice, and breathing are silent tools of confidence that anyone can master. Physical health is the foundation. A healthy body supports a confident mind. Before we close this chapter, let me leave you with a thought. Confidence is not built in one grand moment. It's built in the small daily choices, The way you speak to yourself, the way you hold your body, and the rituals you commit to every single day. If you want unshakable social confidence, don't just think of it as a skill. Think of it as a lifestyle. If you found value in this chapter, make sure you like this audiobook, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the channel for more empowering content. Together, we're building a community of confident voices. Chapter 5: Mastering the Art of Body Language. Welcome back, my friend. So far, we've explored the mindset shifts and inner foundations needed for building unshakable social confidence. Now, it's time to step into one of the most powerful tools of communication: your body language. Here's the truth. Long before you open your mouth, people are already making judgments about you. In fact, studies show that within just a few seconds, others decide if you're confident, trustworthy, or approachable, all based on your body language. That's why mastering it is non-negotiable if you want to build lasting social confidence. In this chapter, I'll walk you through 4 key elements: how to hold eye contact without intimidation, how to smile naturally, the power of posture, hand gestures, and tone of voice, and finally, small exercises you can practice daily. Think of this as your personal coaching session. Let's begin. Eye contact without intimidation. Have you ever spoken to someone who looked everywhere except at you? It made them seem nervous or distracted, right? On the other hand, someone who stares too intensely can make you feel uncomfortable. The balance lies in steady, relaxed eye contact. A great example comes from Martin Luther King Jr. during his speeches. He held eye contact with large crowds, but he did so with warmth. He didn't glare, he connected. His gaze conveyed conviction without aggression, and people felt included, not judged. Here's a simple technique you can try. Use the triangle rule. Instead of staring directly into someone's eyes non-stop, let your gaze gently move between their eyes and their mouth in a slow, natural triangle. This keeps eye contact steady, but not overbearing. Remember this: eye contact is not about staring, it's about connecting. Smiling naturally. A smile is one of the most universal signals of confidence. It communicates friendliness, openness, and warmth. But there's a difference between a forced smile and a genuine one. People can spot a fake smile instantly. Think about Queen Elizabeth II. For decades, she carried herself with dignity, but what made her approachable was her gentle, genuine smile. She didn't need to speak for people to feel at ease in her presence. So how do you smile naturally? The secret is in your eyes. A genuine smile engages the muscles around your eyes, not just your mouth. This is called the Duchenne smile, and it instantly builds trust. Practice this. Think of a joyful memory or something you're truly grateful for, then allow the smile to come naturally. Over time, this will become a habit, and your smile will never feel forced again. Posture, hand gestures, and tone of voice. Now let's talk about posture. Imagine walking into a room with your shoulders slouched, your arms crossed, and your head down. Without saying a word, you've already told everyone, "I'm not confident." But when you stand tall, with your shoulders relaxed, chin slightly up, and arms open, you communicate strength and openness. Think about Abraham Lincoln. Despite his tall and sometimes awkward frame, his posture on stage gave him an air of authority. He didn't fidget or fold into himself. He stood tall, calm, and grounded. That's part of why his speeches carried so much weight. Now, hand gestures. Research by communication expert Dr. Albert Morabian suggests that body language accounts for more than half of the impression you make. Your gestures should match your words. For example, if you say, "I'm excited about this," and your hands remain stiff at your sides, people won't believe you. But when your hands open slightly, palms up, your energy becomes contagious. Finally, your tone of voice. Confidence isn't about volume, it's about clarity. A leader like Angela Merkel didn't need to shout to command respect. Her calm, measured voice projected authority without aggression. Your goal is to speak slowly, with pauses where needed, and to let your voice rise and fall naturally. Avoid rushing. Confidence has its own pace. Now let's make this practical. Here are 4 daily exercises you can start using immediately. Mirror drill. Every morning, stand in front of a mirror. Check your posture, shoulders back, chin up, feet firmly grounded. Practice holding gentle eye contact with your reflection for 30 seconds while smiling. Gesture practice. Pick a short paragraph from a book and read it out loud, adding natural hand gestures. Notice how much more alive your words feel. Voice training. Record yourself speaking on your phone. Listen for clarity, pace, and tone. Ask yourself, do I sound calm and confident? Adjust and practice again. The 3-second rule. When meeting someone, hold eye contact, smile, and greet them confidently within the first 3 seconds. This sets the tone for the entire interaction. As Dale Carnegie wrote in his classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, the expression one wears on one's face is far more important than the clothes one wears on one's back. This timeless advice reminds us that confidence is not about what you own, but how you present yourself. Key takeaways for you. Eye contact should connect, not intimidate. Use the triangle rule. A genuine smile engages both your mouth and eyes. Posture, gestures, and tone of voice shape how others perceive you before you say a word. Daily practice rewires your habits and makes confidence automatic. Body language is your silent ambassador. It speaks louder than your words and shapes how people see you in every interaction. By mastering these simple techniques, eye contact, smiling, posture, gestures, and tone, you're not just faking confidence, you're building it into your very presence. If you found this chapter helpful, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who could use a boost in confidence, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the rest of this audiobook. Remember, confidence is not a gift, it's a skill. And every day, with practice, you're getting better at it. Chapter 6. Conversation Skills for Any Situation. Imagine this. You walk into a room full of people. You want to connect, but suddenly your mind goes blank. You're not sure what to say, your palms get sweaty, and you feel awkward. We've all been there. But here's the good news. Conversation is a skill. And like any other skill, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. In this chapter, I'll coach you step by step on how to start conversations without awkwardness, how to use listening as your greatest superpower, how to ask the right questions that make people open up, and finally, how to handle silence gracefully instead of fearing it. By the end, you'll not only understand conversations, you'll know how to own them. Starting conversations without awkwardness. The hardest part of any conversation is the first step, the opening. Many people think they need a perfect, clever line to begin, but the truth is much simpler. A conversation doesn't start with brilliance, it starts with presence. Franklin D. Roosevelt, former U.S. president, was known for his ability to connect with people from all walks of life. He wasn't famous for giving long, polished speeches in casual settings. Instead, he had a habit of starting with something small, an observation about the room, the weather, or simply asking how someone's day had been. He knew that the power of a conversation lies not in perfection, but in warmth. So here's your practical tip. Instead of overthinking your first words, just notice something around you. Comment on the environment, ask a simple question, or give a genuine compliment. For example, this place has such a nice atmosphere, doesn't it? I like your choice of colors. Did you pick it yourself? How did you find today's event? These may sound small, but they open the door. And once the door is open, the rest flows. The power of listening more than talking. Let's be honest. Many people think conversation means talking a lot. But real connection doesn't come from speaking. It comes from listening. Take Queen Elizabeth II as an example. She held one of the most powerful positions in the world, yet people who met her often said the same thing. She made me feel like I was the only person in the room. How? By listening intently. She didn't dominate conversations. She encouraged others to share. The book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey highlights this with a powerful lesson. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Listening is not passive, it's active. You listen with your eyes, your body language, and your follow-up questions. When someone speaks, lean in slightly, nod to show you're following, and respond with genuine interest. Listening doesn't just build trust, it makes people want to talk to you again. Because in a noisy world, being heard is rare. Here's a practical exercise. In your next conversation, focus on speaking only 30% of the time and listening 70%. Notice how much more people open up when they feel truly heard. Open-ended questions to keep conversations flowing. Now that you know how to start a conversation and listen well, the next challenge is keeping it alive. This is where open-ended questions become your best friend. Instead of asking questions that lead to yes or no answers, ask questions that invite stories. For example, instead of "Did you like the event?" ask, "What was your favorite part of the event?" Instead of "Do you work here?" ask, "What's the most interesting part of your work here?" Nelson Mandela once said, "I never lose. I either win or learn." Similarly, in conversations, you don't lose when you ask the right questions, you learn. And people love sharing when they feel their experiences are valued. Think about this. When you ask someone what motivates you in your work, or what's been the most memorable moment of your year so far, you invite them to tell their story. And stories are the lifeblood of meaningful conversations. So here's a quick tool you can use. Remember the acronym FWARD. F means family. O means occupation. R means recreation. D means dreams. These are safe, engaging areas to ask about. Everyone has something to share in at least one of them. Handling silence gracefully. Now, let's address something that makes many people nervous. Silence. You're in the middle of a conversation, and suddenly, there's a pause. What now? Here's the truth. Silence isn't the enemy. It only feels awkward if you label it that way. Some of the most powerful leaders in history, like Abraham Lincoln, were known for using pauses effectively. Lincoln often paused during his speeches, allowing his words to sink in and giving people space to reflect. In conversations, silence can serve the same purpose. It gives the other person time to think, and it gives you time to breathe. Instead of rushing to fill every gap, embrace the pause. You can restart gently with a comment, a follow-up question, or simply by shifting the topic naturally. Here's a tip. The next time there's a pause, count to 3 silently before speaking. Often, the other person will continue the conversation themselves, or the pause will turn into a moment of comfort rather than discomfort. Key takeaways from this chapter. Start simple, not perfect. A warm comment or question is better than waiting for the right words. Listen more than you talk. True confidence comes from making others feel valued. Use open-ended questions. They invite stories, deepen connections, and keep the flow alive. Don't fear silence. Embrace it as part of natural communication. Remember, conversations aren't tests you have to pass, they're bridges you build. You now have tools to walk into any room and start a conversation without awkwardness, to keep it flowing with the power of listening and open-ended questions, and to handle silence with grace. With practice, you'll notice that people begin to enjoy your company more. Not because you said the smartest things, but because you made them feel heard and comfortable. So, the next time you meet someone new, don't wait for the perfect line. Start small, listen deeply, and let the conversation grow naturally. Confidence isn't about talking endlessly, it's about connecting meaningfully. If you found this chapter helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this audiobook. And remember, every conversation is a chance to grow, connect, and shine. Chapter 7. Overcoming Social Anxiety Step by Step. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a swimming pool. The water looks cold, and you're nervous about jumping in. You could dive straight into the deep end, but your body resists. Instead, you step in slowly, first your toes, then your legs, and finally, you immerse yourself fully. This is exactly how overcoming social anxiety works. Confidence in social settings is not built overnight. It's not about suddenly becoming the loudest voice in the room or forcing yourself into situations that make your heart race. Instead, it's about gradual, consistent exposure. Step by step, you build strength, just as a weightlifter doesn't start with the heaviest weights on day one. The gradual exposure method. Think of gradual exposure as the safest, most effective way to train your mind and body to adapt to social situations. If social anxiety has kept you from speaking up, introducing yourself, or joining conversations, the solution is not to avoid these experiences. It is to face them gently, at a pace that challenges you without overwhelming you. Start small. For example, begin with making eye contact with strangers for a few seconds. The next day, add a smile. Later, say a short hello to someone you see regularly, like a neighbor or colleague. Over time, these little actions accumulate into something powerful: resilience. One of the greatest leaders who overcame deep personal fears was Abraham Lincoln. Early in his life, he was described as shy and often anxious in public. But Lincoln practiced speaking at small gatherings, gradually increasing his audience size. He started in small-town debates, then to local meetings, and eventually became one of the most eloquent presidents in history. His story is proof that exposure, practiced step by step, can transform crippling fear into commanding presence. The gradual exposure method works because it rewires your brain. Each small win convinces your nervous system that social interaction is not a life-threatening danger, but rather an opportunity for connection. Role-play and practice scenarios. Now let's move to another powerful tool: role-play. If you've ever rehearsed a speech in front of the mirror or practiced a job interview with a friend, you've already used this technique. Role-playing reduces uncertainty by helping your brain prepare for situations before they happen. For example, if you're anxious about introducing yourself at a party, practice it at home. Stand in front of a mirror, smile, and say, "Hi, my name is your name. It's nice to meet you." Repeat it until it feels natural. If you're worried about small talk, write down 3 safe, simple questions to ask. How has your week been? What do you enjoy doing outside of work? Have you seen any good movies or read anything interesting lately? When you practice these lines ahead of time, your brain feels less pressure in the real moment. One of the most remarkable examples of practice leading to confidence is Franklin D. Roosevelt, who faced not only social anxiety, but also physical challenges after contracting polio. He practiced and rehearsed tirelessly before speaking in public. He visualized scenarios, role-played responses, and trained his voice until it carried authority. His preparation made him a president who inspired millions during one of the most difficult times in history. So here's your action step. Find a trusted friend, or even record yourself on your phone. Role-play common situations. Introducing yourself, joining a group conversation, or even responding to criticism. The more you rehearse, the more confident you'll feel when the moment arrives. Breathing and relaxation techniques before social events. Here's the truth. Your body often reacts before your mind does. Sweaty palms, racing heartbeat, tight chest. These are not signs of weakness. They are your body's way of preparing you for what it mistakenly believes is danger. The good news? You can calm these signals. One of the simplest yet most powerful techniques is called box breathing. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 4 counts. Exhale for 4 counts. Hold again for 4 counts. Repeat this cycle 4 times. Within minutes, your nervous system begins to calm down. Another technique is grounding yourself through your senses. Before walking into a room, pause and notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This practice pulls you out of anxious thoughts and anchors you in the present moment. Think of leaders like Angela Merkel, who was once known for her quiet and reserved nature. Merkel admitted to feeling nervous in high-pressure meetings early in her career. But she learned to regulate her breathing before speaking, allowing her to project calm authority even in tense political negotiations. Her composure became one of her greatest strengths as a world leader. Key takeaways for you. Small steps matter. Begin with small, manageable actions like eye contact and greetings. Over time, these steps build real confidence. Practice is power. Role-play conversations and rehearse introductions. Preparation reduces uncertainty and fear. Calm the body, calm the mind. Breathing and grounding techniques stop anxiety from controlling you. Confidence is built, not born. Even world leaders once felt anxious, but they trained themselves step by step. Remember, overcoming social anxiety is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming the fullest version of yourself. Confidence doesn't mean you'll never feel nervous. It means you won't let nervousness stop you from living fully. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said in her book You Learn by Living, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. Each time you take one small step, you're proving to yourself that you are stronger than your anxiety. So I encourage you, choose one small step today. Maybe it's saying hello to a stranger, maybe it's practicing your introduction, or maybe it's just breathing deeply before walking into a room. Whatever it is, celebrate it. You are building unshakable confidence one step at a time. If this chapter gives you practical tools to begin overcoming social anxiety, then make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to this channel for more life-changing lessons. Your journey to lasting confidence continues, and we're building it together, one chapter at a time. Chapter 8: Building Confidence in Groups. Have you ever stepped into a group conversation and felt invisible? Maybe your words seemed to dissolve into the air, or you were interrupted before finishing your thought. Perhaps you hesitated to speak because you didn't know if your ideas mattered. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Many people feel confident one-on-one, yet when the setting shifts to a group, their confidence shrinks. But here's the truth. Group conversations are not about who is the loudest or the most charismatic. They are about connection, presence, and clarity. And the good news is, these are skills you can build. In this chapter, we will explore how to navigate group conversations with ease, speak up without fear, handle interruptions gracefully, and build powerful connections through networking. Think of this as your personal toolkit for thriving whenever multiple voices are in the room. Navigating group conversations. The first challenge in groups is knowing when and how to enter the flow of conversation. Many people wait for the perfect moment, but in reality, perfect moments rarely come. Instead, confidence is about creating your own opening. Here's a practical approach. Listen actively first. Pay attention to the rhythm of the group. Who dominates? Who asks questions? Where is the conversation headed? Once you get the flow, choose a natural pause or a transition point and step in. For example, imagine you're in a team meeting. Everyone is throwing ideas around, and you notice a pause. That's your moment. You could say, building on what was just said, I think, or that reminds me of another angle we could explore. By linking your comment to the ongoing conversation, you show respect while establishing your voice. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "You must do the thing you think you cannot do." She wasn't just talking about climbing mountains. She was also speaking about facing social fears. Roosevelt herself was once painfully shy, yet she became one of the most influential public figures of her time. She learned that confidence in groups is less about waiting for approval and more about daring to participate. Speaking up without fear. One of the greatest fears in group settings is the thought of being wrong, laughed at, or dismissed. But here's the truth. Most people are too caught up in their own thoughts to judge you harshly. Martin Luther King Jr. is a powerful example of this. Before his famous, "I Have a Dream" speech, he often spoke in smaller community groups and church gatherings. His confidence grew not because he knew every word would be perfect, but because he believed his voice carried value. The same applies to you. Try this simple strategy. Before speaking in a group, take one deep breath. This calms your nerves and gives your voice strength. Then, speak with clarity and intention. Even if your point is brief, the way you deliver it, calm, steady, and with belief, will capture attention. Another tip is to start small. If speaking up in large groups feels overwhelming, begin with smaller circles of 3 to 5 people. Practice sharing your thoughts there. Over time, your confidence will expand naturally. Remember, people don't remember every detail of what you said, but they remember how you made them feel. Dealing with being interrupted or ignored. Nothing feels worse than being cut off mid-sentence or having your ideas brushed aside. But this doesn't mean your contribution has no value. It simply means you need strategies to hold your ground. John F. Kennedy was known for his ability to remain calm under pressure, even when others tried to dominate a conversation. He would pause, maintain eye contact, and then re-enter the discussion with authority. You can do the same. If you're interrupted, try calmly saying, "I'd like to finish my thought, then I'd love to hear your view." This asserts your presence without creating conflict. If your idea is ignored, don't take it personally. Instead, reintroduce it later with more clarity. You could say, "Earlier, I mentioned an approach that connects to this point. This shows persistence and reinforces that your input matters." Confidence in groups doesn't mean forcing others to listen. It means guiding the conversation so your voice is respected. How to network confidently. Networking is often misunderstood. Many think it's about handing out business cards or impressing strangers. But in reality, networking is about building genuine human connections. Think of former Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, who was known for his ability to connect with people from all walks of life. He understood that real influence doesn't come from titles or wealth. It comes from the ability to connect, listen, and show interest in others. Here's a simple formula for confident networking. Approach with curiosity. Instead of worrying about what you'll say, focus on learning something new about the other person. Use open-ended questions. Ask things like, "What inspired you to get into this field?" Or, "What do you enjoy most about your work?" Share something personal but brief. This makes you relatable. Follow up. True networking happens after the initial conversation. Send a quick message or note to continue the relationship. Remember, people feel more drawn to those who make them feel heard than those who try too hard to impress. Key takeaways for you. Group conversations flow like rivers. You need to step in, not wait for the water to stop. Speak with intention, not perfection. Your voice matters. Interruptions don't erase your value. Stand your ground calmly. Networking is not about collecting contacts. It's about creating meaningful connections. Think about the last time you were in a group. Did you hold back? Did you feel your voice didn't matter? Imagine how different it would feel if you walked into the next group conversation with calmness, clarity, and the certainty that your input has value. Building confidence in groups isn't about changing who you are. It's about unlocking the power that is already within you. Like Eleanor Roosevelt, Martin Luther King Jr., John F. Kennedy, and many others, you can transform group interactions into opportunities for influence, connection, and growth. The next time you find yourself in a group, take a breath, ground yourself, and remember, your voice deserves to be heard. If you're finding value in this audiobook, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so more people can build the confidence they need to thrive. Together, we can create a world where no one hides their voice. Chapter 9. Resilience against rejection and judgment. Have you ever felt the sting of rejection? Maybe it was in a relationship, at work, or in a conversation where you felt dismissed or ignored. Rejection cuts deep because it touches one of our most basic human needs, the need to belong, to be accepted, and to be valued. But here's the truth. Rejection is not personal. It may feel personal in the moment, but most of the time, rejection says more about the other person's preferences, circumstances, or limitations than it does about your worth. Think about it. When a publisher rejects a book, it doesn't always mean the book is bad. Sometimes it simply doesn't fit their current direction. When someone doesn't respond to your message, it doesn't automatically mean you're unworthy of connection. It could be that they were busy, distracted, or simply in a different headspace. One of the first steps toward resilience is to separate your identity from the rejection. You are not your rejection. Let's look at an example from history. Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected leaders in the world, faced failure after failure before becoming president. He lost elections, faced business failures, and endured deep personal struggles. Yet, he refused to let those rejections define him. Instead, he reframed them as learning opportunities. If Lincoln had believed that his early failures meant he was unworthy, he would never have become one of the most influential leaders in history. His resilience is a powerful reminder that setbacks are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones. Another inspiring figure is Eleanor Roosevelt. Early in her public life, she was harshly criticized, not just for her views but for her appearance and mannerisms. Instead of shrinking away, she chose to rise above the criticism. She once said, "Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway." That single line from her personal writings is a timeless lesson in resilience. She teaches us that no matter what you do, someone will have an opinion. The real freedom comes when you stop living by other people's approval and start living by your own values. So how do we reprogram our response to criticism? The first step is awareness. When someone criticizes you, your instinct may be to defend, withdraw, or feel crushed. But instead of reacting, pause. Ask yourself, is there truth in this feedback? Or is this simply an opinion, colored by someone else's perspective? If there is truth in it, take it as a gift. Constructive criticism, even when it stings, can be one of the fastest ways to grow. But if it's just noise, harsh words with no real value, let it roll off. Not every opinion deserves a home in your mind. Let's borrow wisdom from Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher. In his book Meditations, he wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it." What Marcus meant is that the real pain of rejection and criticism comes not from the act itself, but from how we interpret it. Change your interpretation, and you change your experience. Let's make this practical. Imagine you're at work and your idea is dismissed in a meeting. The old you might think, "I'm not smart enough, no one respects me." But a resilient mindset reframes it. Maybe my idea wasn't the right fit for this moment. That doesn't mean I have no value. I'll refine it and bring something stronger next time. Same situation, but a completely different outcome. One drains you, the other fuels you. Turning setbacks into fuel for growth is a skill you can build. Think of Thomas Edison, who was told countless times that his ideas wouldn't work. After thousands of failed experiments with the light bulb, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset turned failure into data, rejection into direction, and setbacks into innovation. Resilience isn't about ignoring pain, it's about transforming it. The moment you stop seeing rejection as proof of your inadequacy and start seeing it as redirection towards something better, you unlock unshakable confidence. Here's a practical exercise you can try. Reframe the story. Write down a rejection you've experienced recently. Then write a second version of the story where the rejection becomes a lesson, a filter, or a stepping stone. This helps retrain your mind to see setbacks differently. Build a criticism filter. The next time you're criticized, ask, is this useful, or is it noise? If it's useful, take action. If it's noise, let it go. Create a resilience mantra. Repeat a phrase that grounds you. Something like, rejection is redirection, or my value doesn't decrease because of someone else's opinion. Use it as armor when facing judgment. Let's pause and bring this home. Every world leader, every great thinker, every creator you admire has faced rejection and judgment. It's not a sign you're failing. It's a sign you're living, trying, growing, and daring. The people who achieve lasting confidence aren't the ones who avoid rejection. They're the ones who learn how to walk through it without losing themselves. Key takeaways from this chapter. Rejection is rarely about you personally. It often reflects external factors. Criticism can be a gift if it's constructive, or just noise if it's not. Learn to filter wisely. Your interpretation of rejection matters more than the rejection itself. Resilient people turn setbacks into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. History's greatest leaders succeeded not because they avoided judgment, but because they refused to be defined by it. Before we move on, remember this: rejection and judgment will always exist. You can't control other people's opinions, but you can control your response. That's where your power lies. If you found this chapter helpful, Make sure you like this audiobook, share it with someone who might need encouragement, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapter. Together, we're building the tools for lasting confidence, step by step. Chapter 10. Living as a socially confident person. Imagine this. You walk into a room full of strangers. Instead of feeling your palms sweat or your heart race, you feel calm, centered, and open. You're not worrying about who's looking at you or whether you'll say the right thing. Instead, you're simply present, curious, and ready to connect. That's the essence of living as a socially confident person. Social confidence isn't about having one lucky conversation or pushing yourself through one successful networking event. It's not a one-time achievement you tick off your list. True confidence is a lifestyle. It's about building habits, mindsets, and practices that allow you to show up authentically, consistently, and powerfully in every interaction. In this chapter, we're going to bring everything together. You'll learn how to make confidence part of your daily life, the habits that keep it strong, and how it can transform your career, relationships, and personal growth. Making confidence a lifestyle. Confidence is like a muscle. If you train it once and stop, it weakens. But if you keep practicing, it becomes second nature. Take Franklin D. Roosevelt, for example. Before becoming a world leader, he was struck with polio, which left him paralyzed from the waist down. Many people would have retreated into isolation, but Roosevelt did the opposite. He worked tirelessly to rebuild his presence, not just physically but socially. He developed habits of resilience, focusing on what he could control, strengthening his voice, and refining his ability to connect with people. His leadership during times of crisis wasn't just about strategy. It was rooted in his daily practice of unshakable confidence. The key lesson here is this. Confidence is not something you wake up with one morning and keep forever. It's built, maintained, and renewed daily. Daily habits that keep confidence strong. So, what habits can you adopt to live as a socially confident person? The power of small wins. Every day, do something that nudges you outside your comfort zone. It doesn't have to be huge. Greeting a stranger, making eye contact with a cashier, or speaking up in a small meeting counts. These little wins add up, training your brain to associate social moments with success rather than fear. The mirror practice. Begin your day with positive affirmations in front of the mirror. Tell yourself, I am worthy of connection. My presence adds value. I choose confidence today. You'll be surprised how much your subconscious absorbs these messages. Body language reset. Throughout the day, check in with your posture. Are you slouching or closing yourself off? Take a deep breath, stand tall, and open your shoulders. Your body sends signals not only to others, but to your own mind. Confident posture breeds confident feelings. Gratitude reflection. Before going to bed, write down 3 moments where you engaged confidently or noticed progress in your interactions. This shifts your focus from what went wrong to what went right, reinforcing growth. By repeating these habits daily, confidence becomes part of who you are, not something you have to fake. Using social confidence to transform your life. Social confidence is not limited to conversations. It spills into every area of life. In your career, think about leaders like Angela Merkel. She wasn't flashy or loud, yet her calm, steady confidence made her one of the most respected figures in global politics. She listened deeply, spoke clearly, and built trust. Confidence doesn't always roar. It can also be quiet, consistent strength. In your career, showing up confidently means you'll seize opportunities, share your ideas, and build stronger networks. In relationships, confidence makes you a better partner, friend, and family member. When you're socially confident, you listen with empathy instead of insecurity, you express your needs without fear, and you create deeper bonds. People are drawn to those who radiate calm assurance. In personal growth, confidence unlocks doors. Maybe you've always wanted to travel alone, join a class, or start a side business. Social confidence helps you step into new environments, meet new people, and expand your world. Resilience against setbacks. Living confidently doesn't mean you'll never face rejection or awkwardness. Even the most socially confident people have off days. Winston Churchill once said in The Gathering Storm that success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. The same applies here. If you stumble in a conversation or feel nervous at an event, it doesn't erase your progress. It's just another step in the journey. What matters is consistency. Get up, keep practicing, and remember, confidence is built over a lifetime. Final actionable steps for lifelong social ease. Let's tie everything together with a simple framework you can use daily. Start small, scale up. Push yourself into slightly uncomfortable conversations daily. Over time, increase the challenge. Anchor your identity. Tell yourself, I am a socially confident person. Don't just practice confidence, claim it. Build your circle. Surround yourself with positive, supportive people who encourage your growth. Confidence is contagious. Reflect and adjust. Keep track of your progress weekly. What worked? What can improve? Celebrate progress, not perfection. Stay curious. Confidence is not about being the smartest in the room, but being genuinely interested in others. Curiosity is your secret weapon. Key takeaways for you. Social confidence is not a one-time achievement, but a lifestyle. Daily habits, like small wins, body language checks, affirmations, and gratitude, help you maintain it. Social confidence can transform your career, relationships, and personal growth. Setbacks are natural. Resilience is what keeps your confidence growing. With consistent practice, social confidence becomes part of who you are. Confidence is not about pretending to be someone else. It's about becoming more of who you truly are. Every conversation is an opportunity, not to prove yourself, but to connect, to learn, and to grow. If you take these lessons and live them daily, you won't just act confident, you'll be confident. So as you move forward, remember this. Confidence is not found in waiting for the right moment. It's created every day in the small choices you make. If this audiobook has inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Someone out there is struggling with the same shyness or anxiety you once had. Share this with them. And if you found value here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more empowering content. Because together, we're not just learning, we're building lives of unshakable confidence. You've just taken a powerful journey, from understanding the roots of shyness and anxiety to mastering the daily habits that build unshakable social confidence. Remember this. Confidence isn't about never feeling nervous again. It's about showing up anyway, choosing courage over fear, presence over doubt, and connection over silence.